What if I told you that you could be a global citizen without ever stepping foot on a plane? Hi, my name is Ozer, and I'm so honored to be here with you all tonight to share the importance of being a global citizen and how you can become one. When we hear the words global citizen, we often imagine someone who's traveled the world, speaks multiple languages, and has a passport full of stamps. For a long time, I thought that's what it meant too. But the more I've learned, the more I've realized, if that's the real definition, then most of the world is left out. The truth is, many people will never have the chance to travel overseas. Cost, time, and circumstances make it impossible for millions. And yet, these same people can still make an impact. The first time I realized this was at a cultural festival my school was hosting. Throughout the year, cultures will display their customs and traditions on stands of activities and even food. Then, kids from elementary school all the way to seniors in high school will walk around and learn about other cultures. Events such as Diwali and Hispanic heritage celebrations filled my school. However, this only truly resonated with me during my school's Lunar New Year celebration. As a kid of Malaysian Chinese heritage, it felt more personal to see my culture being represented. A strong sense of pride filled my body as I watched the dragon dance being performed, the red and gold decorations hung from the trees, and even some of the snacks I ate growing up. Then I realized how important it is for all kids to feel this way, to feel represented, to feel heard. Kids of all ages were walking around, laughing. After the festival, it hit me how impactful it is for kids to be able to learn about other cultures from the luxury of their own school. It became apparent to me that internationalism was something that could be accessed locally. This moment made me stop to think about something we rarely question. What does it really mean to be a global citizen? Global citizenship isn't about the miles traveled, but about the mindsets changed. It's not about where you've been, but how you choose to engage with the world from where your feet stand. Many people believe global citizenship is for those who have the luxury to travel, but traveling is not a privilege that everyone gets. Limiting global citizenship by the ability to travel restricts its impact to those with monetary resources and shuts the majority of people out. Why should global citizenship be an exclusive club that only the wealthy can join? True global citizenship isn't limited by money or resources. Anyone can learn a new language online, volunteer for a refugee organization, or even attend your local cultural fair. A student who's never left their hometown can be a global citizen by speaking up about human rights. A parent can be a global citizen by buying products that support fair working conditions. And even the teachers in this building can be global citizens by bringing international perspectives into the classroom. Fortunately, I've been privileged enough to attend an IB school, where internationalism is everywhere, especially in the classroom. Although this kind of education is not standard, simple things such as taking a foreign language class can give me insight into the history and culture of that language. The saying, knowledge is power, is a bit cliche, but how our society operates really comes down to the education our youth is receiving. Infusing internationalism into schools and normalizing it in education gives our youth the power to make a difference. Education shapes perspective, perspective shapes action. If global citizenship is really about your mindset, then the next question is, where do these mindsets come from? People often use the phrase, kids are like sponges. I never really understood what that meant until my little sister started calling me dude and bro. Besides the lingo and the funny jokes, many of our opinions and certain narratives really do come from our parents, the good and the bad. But do you want your kids to carry around racial biases and prejudices? Hopefully you answered no to that question, but many parents still pass on these bad habits subconsciously, just as easily as those jokes and phrases. Simple things such as jokes, comments you make while you watch the news, and letting one poor experience define your perspective can shape the way your child feels towards an entire group of people. Ultimately, these things play a big role in the way the next generation interacts with one another. These cycles can be broken by reflecting on our own habits and modeling the change we want to see. It can be simple in our everyday lives, being mindful of our language when discussing heated or polarizing topics, staying neutral, especially around impressionable people, and displaying kindness and empathy, regardless of appearance or ethnic background. A philosophy I strongly believe in is you are a product of the people you hang around. I've personally seen students who have changed their habits simply by surrounding themselves in an environment of curiosity and inclusion. Not to mention that I've experienced it myself. Only when I surrounded myself with student leaders on my school student council did I open my mind to all the opportunities I hadn't been taken advantage of. Surrounding yourself with alternative perspectives, people of different backgrounds, and other open-minded people will transform the way you lead your life. Engaging in global citizenship doesn't have to be immersing yourself in other cultures, but can simply be being more aware of the different cultures and experiences that exist around you. Through these changes, we can create a domino effect of open-mindedness and empathy. Not only does the increase of these qualities create a safer, kinder world to live in, but it brings people together towards a common goal. And by passing on these good habits in the same way you pass on those phrases and biases, is how we create a world that lives for one another. Perhaps young global thinkers could teach each other something positive for a change. When I was a kid, my parents would often ask me, "Noah, where did you learn that from?" after I repeated some words I probably shouldn't have been saying. But what if kids could bring home good habits? I know that sounds crazy, but mindsets and behaviors are truly contagious. Now, I know all these things sound subtle. Words, phrases, daily choices. But right now, these things have the power to make a major impact. In today's day and age, racial and social divides are more prominent than ever. The media magnifies differences, politics deepens divides, and many people are only willing to listen to whatever reaffirms their values and beliefs. Empathy is currently something our society is struggling with. Unless it affects us or someone we know, we like to pretend it isn't happening. We live in a time where we can know about a crisis halfway across the world in seconds, and then scroll past it just as quickly. But distance is only a number. In today's day and age, there are so many different ways to help people in need through global citizenship, even if they're on the other side of the world. At my high school, I have the privilege of serving as the co-president of Round Square. For a bit of context, this organization is part of 200 schools around the world. Throughout the year, schools will take turns hosting conferences. We're then visiting schools or go over there and learn about other cultures. Although this organization seems like it involves a lot of traveling, the majority of the club's impact at my school is all done locally. Things such as volunteering to help low-income communities in need and helping clean up areas affected by natural disasters are all things our students partake in locally. That's an example of global citizenship in action. So now back to the bigger picture. So you might be asking yourself, what should I do? First, global citizenship isn't defined by traveling, but by perspective. You don't need to cross oceans, you only need to open your mind. Second, these cycles of bias and misunderstanding can be broken by changing the words we use, the lessons we teach, and even the examples we set. And third, this matters now more than ever, because in a world divided by politics, fear, and borders, empathy is the bridge that connects us all. So the question isn't whether global citizenship is possible, it's whether we're willing to practice it. Being a global citizen starts with everyday choices, from the products you buy, the language you use, and even the businesses and causes you support. But when we work together to cultivate a more open-minded perspective, we can create a world that feels empathy for one another, even if they're on the other side. So why not start today? Connect with your neighbor, whether they live next door or 1,000 miles away. Do some research on some of the products you're buying. And together, we can leave the world a better place, not just for us, but for the future. Anyone can be a global citizen. The question is, will you choose to be one? Thank you.